Hello my fellow readers, today I'm going to be doing a light novel series review, and that is for Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter. This is volume 2, but I've now completed all 8 volumes of the series. Now, I think I may have reviewed volume 1 ages and ages ago. This was the series that I started to read way back when I had COVID, and then I took a break from it, as I've been really, when I did my TBR thing for doing light novels, it just never chose Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter. So I just haven't been back to it. It was a lot of like Cecilia, or the cross-dressing villainess Cecilia Sylvie, a lot of Seventh Time Loop, and both of those series I really like. I actually have to get back to reading both of them. There's a ton, but this one has always just kind of been on the back burner. And then they started to release the audiobook. And so I was finally able to listen to these, and it's just such a great series. It was really fun to do a listen along to the books. And I figured, now that I have actually finished the whole series, I will talk about the series just very quickly. So, Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter follows Iris. She is the villainess of a story, and yes, this is an isekai. So originally there was a girl in Japan and gets swept into this world, and I think this is the world of a game, but I might be wrong. It might be a light novel. I cannot remember. So it's either like a visual novel or it's a light novel world. Either way, she realizes very quickly in volume 1 that she is in this other world and that she has been put into the body of the villainess. Now, the original story, I think it essentially ends at this point, but it is where the heroine triumphs over the villainess, who is Iris, and so she gets separated. She was engaged to one of the princes of the realm. He breaks off their engagement. The shame of it forces her to just go off into the world. Like, that's what we know of the original story. And the prince marries this baron's daughter, who's the heroine of the original story. And so Iris, knowing that she is the villainess and is about to lose everything in her life, really doesn't want that. And it doesn't turn out necessarily as bad as it would have in the game world. So there is kind of she has to quietly go away in order to not have the attention brought upon her and the shame to her family, but her family isn't unsupportive of her at the same time. So as punishment, her father sets her up as the governor of his dukedom and gives her a role to play where she can be kind of silently retired, but not really. I mean, she's busy working, but she's not necessarily in the political limelight that she has been in as the prince's fiancé. And so when she does that, she goes off and starts really using the knowledge that she has from her former life to make the dukedom better. You know, she starts establishing more jobs, she starts establishing schools, she starts looking at ways to better serve the people. This will later incorporate also having better health care and access to health. All of these, like, just little changes to make the people in her dukedom's lives better. And in general, she's also building her reputation because people are hearing how good it is in the dukedom and that it is based on Iris's decisions, and therefore she's actually building up her and her family's reputation. We know that she also is getting help from a character called Dean, and we believe that there's more to Dean than meets the eye, and there is. I don't think it's entirely spoilery to say this because it is thrown at you by volume 2. I don't think we really get a lot of it, although maybe there was like a bonus scene at the end of volume 1, but definitely within volume 2 we know that Dean is actually the other prince of the kingdom. So Dean is not his, it's not like it's not his name, but it's not his prince name. So he kind of hides within the community to protect himself and his position, because there is also a fractured divide at the kingdom's top, where there are those who want Dean, now I'm trying to remember what his royal name is. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But there's a group that want Dean to be the king, next king, and there's another group that want the other prince who dumped Iris to be king. And so he tries to like lay low as much as possible. So Iris has no idea about who he is. We do discover later that they did meet each other in the palace years ago. He gave her the name Dean. I don't know if she remembers that at this point, because she just acts like Dean kind of showed up one day and started helping her, and he's a great help and he knows a lot. And she didn't know, even when they met at the palace, that he was the other prince. They just were like childhood friends. Despite all that, we do have Iris and Dean building a relationship closer to one another, but also helping to build up the dukedom and build Iris's reputation. There are other key figures who, well, one, it turns out that the Baron's daughter, and she was an illegitimate daughter, so even like calling her that may not be as good and of a heroine as, you know, the prince would like people to believe. She actually is quite conniving. Of course, the prince loves her. He doesn't see all this, but she actually is very conniving. And part of that is to get revenge against the kingdom and the nobility that sort of ostracized her and her mother. It's kind of a revenge plot for her. She does things that make her seem outwardly good, like throwing a giant charity ball, but it's not actually doing any good, because it's keeping money away from the poor and just doing it to provide this great entertainment for the really rich people, as they do. Doesn't really seem that different from other people in the real world. So there's all these little key components of her that show that she's not actually the heroine of the story. She's not a heroine at all. She is kind of a villainess. And in the other world, maybe we wouldn't have gotten to see that. But in this world, in the world of the actual story, we see that there's a lot of bad things happening on that end. There's also the former fiance, Edward. It's his mother, if I'm not mistaken, like the current queen. She is also very conniving about trying to, well, get rid of Iris in general. Like, she doesn't want her around at all. She also does not like Dean and his threat to the crown. So she's also like quite conniving, if I'm remembering her correctly. Yes. Elia? I think it was Elia. It's his mom. So she's always in the background too. She ends up with like this whole scheme to try to excommunicate Iris and shame her further so that she will stop building her reputation. But then it turns out that the Queen Dowager is actually a huge fan of Iris's parents. She wanted Iris's mom to marry her son. That didn't happen because Iris's mom fell in love with her father and married him. But she always thought it was a second chance when Iris was born and she had grandsons. She always thought that was a second chance to get the family intermarried. So right now, like, she's very upset that Edward let Iris go, and she also does not trust his current fiance. So that's a whole other thing. So we do have, I think within the second one, I'm pretty sure it was the second one, we do have the Dowager Queen trying to find the evidence and everything to show that Iris is not the person that that now the church in this world is trying to portray her as. She wasn't trying to do anything illicit, and in fact it was backroom dealings that were happening. So it's fascinating, like the political interweavings in this. Waiting to see when Iris will realize that Dean is the other prince. Waiting to see if they can actually fall in love. Like, all of this is within this story. There's also a threat of war that's happening. So we see that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of in-house shady dealings. And then there's also the Fuller Worlds war and dealings. And it's a very quick series too. The main story with Iris really wraps up within the first 5 volumes. The remaining 3 volumes, because it's only an 8-volume series, the remaining 3 all focus on a prequel, I guess you would call it. It's all the story of Iris's mom. Because Iris's mom, which we know from the main series, she is combat trained. She's actually very strong and willing to physically fight, like not even just fight as a noble with her wit, like she is willing to physically get into the fight. And so the final 3 volumes are all that prequel story that show her meeting who becomes her husband, Louis. It shows their whole romantic line and story. It shows other friends in her life and important people that influence her 2 children later on, or who maybe they were named after. And it's really, really good. You also see Iris's grandfather through this story, because, you know, he's the one who is guiding his daughter to be who she is. And I don't know, it's a good series. It's so quick. It's a quick read. None of them are that long of volumes. You know, definitely all under 300 pages each. And if you're reading, it's like pretty big print. So very quick reads. I loved the characters. I loved the story of Dean and Iris. Like, I've been rooting for them since the beginning. There is a scene in volume 5 where, I don't know, like you're suddenly given a shock and then you have to like, is it true or is it not true? And you have to stick with it to find out, but it does also like just go past it very quickly. But yeah, I don't know. It does have a happy ending. That's all I'm going to say. So if you're looking for a very good fantasy light novel read that is also a quick done series, you know, because some of them go on and on and on, but this one is all done, with the main story being just 5 volumes and the prequel story being 3 volumes. Pick up Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter. I loved it so much. It also has beautiful artwork. I love the covers so much. Like, they're just gorgeous, and they always have the interior artwork piece. It's so much fun. That is all I'm going to say about it, because it's really fun. It's great. And I'm also just really glad to be reviewing another book / series. I feel like I don't always get time to do my reviews lately, so I'm really glad I could sit down and let you know that you should pick this series up. It's just a lot of fun. It's great. I loved the characters. I loved seeing Iris like fight for what she wanted. I do think it's funny, this is an isekai where occasionally she'll bring up her past life, but in general she just like quickly moved on to her new life and the people around her. Even though she uses her knowledge and experience, like there's not overly dwelling on like her past family or anything. She's pretty much set, and she loves the people and the family that she has in this series. So I don't know, I just liked it. So again, Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter. Get it now, read it now. Also available in audiobook, and it's really well done. And that is it for this video. Until next time, bye.